Hello and welcome to my first official podcast. If you saw my little trial run, I'm so grateful for all the comments that I received. Thank you very, very much. It was very encouraging and it gave me the boost to give it another whirl. So we'll see how we get on. Hope you enjoyed the film at the beginning of the sea. We had a break in the sun on Boxing Day, so I scuttled down the end of the road and did some filming, and I just thought it was rather a nice way to begin this podcast. Right, I hope you had a good Christmas. All was well here. We had a good time, and now I think we're all chilling and relaxing and having just a few days to find ourselves, which is lovely. I have been busily, as usual, knitting and creating, and I'm so grateful to have this interest and this lovely pastime, which has certainly helped the dark winter days along, and also this wretched COVID business. I know people who've got it, so I'm just being a little bit more careful, but we're all in the same boat, and I guess we just have to get on with it. Okay, so during the film today, I'm going to talk mainly about knitting. It's all going to be obviously fibre related, but I do more knitting in the winter because I tend to do my dyeing and weaving and things in when the weather is better and go outside. So in future episodes, I can take you down to my little art hut and we can have a look round there. So, but I will be showing you some of my fibres and spinning things and ideas, and towards the end today I will talk about future projects and ideas, because I'm always a little bit one step ahead of myself. It's just how I work, really. So hopefully you'll enjoy it. I'm going to start off by talking about what I'm wearing. This is, as you can see, very simple plain garter stitch. I do like some mindless knitting. And having said that, if you look too closely at this, there are rather a lot of mistakes, but you know what, it's fine. This I've finished recently. It was going to be a little scarf and it ended up as a great big kind of shawl, but you know, it's brilliant. I love wearing it. And when it's not too cold outside, if I'm just going in the car somewhere, I don't bother putting a coat on. I just wrap this round me, and it's been really lovely and soft and warm. It's Drops Lima, Lima. It's very soft because I tend to have very sensitive skin, and it doesn't itch me at all. It's alpaca. I believe it's alpaca and merino mix. But yeah, it's just garter stitch. I cast on about 85 stitches and just knitted garter stitch until it was done. So that's lovely. And the same sort of wool, slightly different shade, is this sweater here. I call it my Sloppy Joe. Again, it's plain knitting, but it has been so useful. It's just basically a long strip, 130 stitches I think I did on 4mm, knitted. And when I didn't really do a pattern, I just knitted until I got to a neck and did some neck and shoulder shaping. And when I got to the end, I thought, you know what, I'm going to rip this back and make a scarf. So I got everything ready and I thought, well, I will just put it over my head to see what it's like. And do you know, I have worn this. It's been so comfortable. I didn't do any sleeves. I literally just sewed up here and left a gap. It has been so useful. And on the strength of that, I decided to knit another one. So I've just knitted the back, I think this is, the back of a second one in the same, but a different colour. So this will be another one, hopefully. It'll be ready fairly soon. And again, it's in the same Drops Lima, which is a brilliant yarn. And it doesn't, you know, it's not desperately expensive. It doesn't break the bank, which is fine. I've also got another jumper to show you that I knitted last winter when I really got back into knitting. It might look a bit scratty, but I've worn this a lot. I always wear it when I go dog walking because it's as light as a feather and it's very neat and lovely and soft. My friend has alpacas and she sent me a lot of her alpaca fleece, which I obviously washed and whatever and spun. So it's alpaca and merino mix 50-50. Again, it's that perfectly plain pattern that I've been doing. a bit sort of, I dyed it when it was done, but I don't mind things being a bit, I quite like things not being too neat and wonderful. So light, so warm, it's beautiful to wear, and as I say, it's definitely my everyday dog walking sweater. I put it on, if I put it on under a jacket, it's not bulky, it's light, it's beautiful. And every time I put it on, I think of my friend and her alpacas. She's moved away from down here in Sussex, and I miss her, but I'm very grateful for the alpaca fleece, and it's been a really good sweater. More knitting. I have been heavily into experimenting with my yarns. I'm working hard on trying to find the right balance, and I've been practicing on socks. Now, I knitted some socks, but I didn't do any pairs. I did odd socks because I was in the mood for it. I think I showed you one last time, and I said it was plied with mohair, but actually I got that wrong. It was plied with some alpaca fleece alpaca yarn that I bought. So I've got 3 different socks here, which I've done in the last week or so. Again, experimenting to see what they're like. So this is the one that I have done with the alpaca yarn. It's very, very soft, very, very soft and lovely. It'll be very, very warm and cozy. It's slightly thicker than I would normally wear every day, but lovely for walking and if it's cold, or an indoor sock. So that's that one, and I just did, I think, 56 stitches on a 2.5mm needle. I do love knitting socks. I think it's because they're so quick. You get a completed object very quickly, which appeals to me. But so that's that one. Then I thought I'd do something completely different. And some time ago, I treated myself to a Zauber ball, one of those coloured balls of yarn. And I thought, I'll see what that's like knitted up. So I knitted this one, which is lovely. And it's completely different because it's very fine. And I thought, I just felt like doing a real contrast. I have to say, when I tried it on, after I'd tied my hand woven one and my hand spun one with the mohair, it felt very flimsy and fine. It's probably more of a summer sock, but it's very nice. But this week I will knit the pairs, so I will have 3 pairs of socks rather than just 3 socks. So that's that one, but it was nice to have a complete contrast in the knitting. And then finally, this one is my hand spun yarn that I plied with mohair that I bought on a cone, and that I've just finished that this morning, actually, that one. It's very similar to the one that's spun with alpaca. It's slightly finer. It's going to be lovely, actually, to wear, but I have to say I didn't enjoy knitting it as much. It was a bit spindly. I think I like something a little bit more robust to knit. I mean, I love knitting with the sock yarn. I mean, this that I dye, this sort of yarn which I dye, and I'm about to start a couple of new pairs. A friend wants some, so I dye this yarn, which I do love. This is just some of my dyed yarns, and I just know that these undyed sock yarn that I buy, once I dye it and knit them up, the socks are fantastic to wear. I mean, I've got a case full of socks and I wear them every day, particularly in the winter, and they're comfortable, they don't wear out, they're lovely to knit. I love the dyeing, so there'll be a lot more of these dyes coming in the summer. This is just a few of the dyes that I've got left, but it's really nice to have loads of dyed yarn at the ready, so that at times like the winter when it's cold and horrible and wet and dark, I've got plenty to get on with. So that's the socks. Something I do love knitting that feels fairly robust, and I'm doing another one of my plain sweaters. I'm a bit boring, I suppose. I suppose I get a pattern. Well, it's not a pattern. Mainly it's just I knit and then I just do the neck and the sleeves. But this one I'm doing again with the drops, and I love knit. I love the process of knitting this this wool, and I'm using Leica needles, which are gorgeous. They've got a slight grip in them. I find a lot of needles are very slippy, and I tend to be very good at losing stitches, whereas these are good. But I just love knitting this. I was talking to my friend the other day, I said it's a comfortable knit. And certainly compared with knitting that mohair sock, it's just beautiful to go back to. So I like to have various things on the go at once. So that is on the go, and I've just done that in a few days. So I'm looking forward to having another one of my lovely basic classic jumpers. Now I have another knitting project underway. Something that I do love having, because I think it's part of my pastime, I have to say, is collecting, having lovely, beautiful books, knitting books. And I just treated myself to this one, Marie Wallen, Wildwood. Now, I've never really done colour work. It's one of my projects I'm going to do. I've decided to do a cowl. There's a picture of a cowl. I mean, it's a beautiful book, this. I love it. But I love the design on the scarf. So I'm going to do this design. This is my plan anyway. This is my plan, that design and a cowl. Now, I've told myself I'm going to start it on New Year's Eve, because if I set myself a time and a project, chances are I will do it. But, you know, if you're interested in seeing this book, it is gorgeous. I do love my books, and I will probably show you books a lot of the time. Hang on, there's the mistake. But I mean, the photography is to die for. It's just gorgeous. Oh, look, hopefully I might have a nice cowl like that soon. Who knows? Oh, I can dream, but I shall give it a go. But look at that. I mean, look at that. It's just, I mean, just looking at the book makes me feel better. But this is going to be a big project for me. It'll probably take me all year, but you know, it doesn't matter. And I thought a cowl isn't too big. And also it doesn't need a special tension to make it the right size like a sweater. But, you know, I'm just going to start there and see what happens. But a beautiful, beautiful book just to look at and to dream, to be honest with you, even if you never make any of the items. But I'm going to have a go, and I've been gathering colours and fibres to use, which in my box here, they look slightly brighter on the screen than they are in real life. They're a bit more sludgy. But I have been doing a lot of sort of dyeing and experimenting with colours. I love that colour that I did. That's actually some Exmoor sock yarn that is dyed. And I've been experimenting with different colours. And this is another one. I haven't wound these up yet. I love that colourway. Again, it does look brighter on the screen. This is all ready for my project that I'm going to cast on New Year's Eve. That's a nice colour I'm pleased with. So yeah, these are the colours I'm gathering myself. I spun that yesterday, that one. No, this one, yesterday. So I'm trying to do sort of slightly more muted colours than I've done in the past. I always feel more muted in the winter. In the spring and summer, I get a bit more lively. But anyway, so this is, I'm going to get all these wound up, hopefully, and caked up, so that I can get going and cast on New Year's Eve. So I shall be able to show you next time how far I've got. I may or may not have got very far, who knows. And here is some, you see, this is what I've been playing with. This is my fibre making. Again, some of these will go in that jumper probably, but I have so enjoyed trying to make different colours. I was trying to get a cinnamony colour, and I'm really pleased with it. Again, it is much brighter on the screen than in real life. It is duller than what you're looking at, but I'm very, very happy with it. I just mix. It's like mixing paint, but I'm mixing fibres, and I'm as happy as Larry doing it. That's some that I just showed you that I've already got spun up. That's a rather nice sludgy green. And that's, you see, I'm just loving these colours. I'm sort of going definitely more earthy. It'll be interesting to see. I know last year when the sun started shining and the spring came, I went very bright again, but that's fine because it's quite nice to have a change, isn't it? So these are all ready for spinning, which I should do. And the idea is it's all going to be in my Marie Woolen. Mind you, it doesn't take that much yarn, does it? A Marie Woolen cowl. So I think that's, I'm going to have a bit of my coffee now, by the way. This is a lovely mug. I love these mugs. My friend and I get them at a place up in the country here in Sussex. A local potter makes them. It's very ceramic and beautiful. And this, she just pours glaze on the top, I suppose. I have ordered another mug. I ordered a mug 2 or 3 weeks ago, and it's due to come this week. It's a lot bigger. So I'll have another nice big mug as well. I do like mugs, and I'm drinking coffee made with oat milk, which I absolutely love. I highly recommend oat milk. I don't quite know what it is. I suppose it's got oats in it. Yeah, so that's really the knitting that's on the go. So I've got my other sloppy joe I'm doing, my light grey jumper, and my socks I've got to knit. I've got to get their pairs made. So that'll keep me busy for the next couple of weeks probably. And I think I haven't really got further than that because I think my colour work is going to take me a long time. What I'll show you now is some of my weaving, which I think I said last time I plan to get back to, and I'm sort of itching to get back to it a bit. I've got various ideas, but I'll just show you. I mean, I actually dyed this. I dug this out of the bag the other day, and I did not like the colours. It's something I dyed a couple of summers ago, and I dyed it the other day, and I'm really pleased with it. Really pleased with this. It's quite a thick jacket. I mean, I could put it on, I suppose. Give you an idea. But I much prefer the colours than it was before. Much prefer. Nice colours, yeah. Put my scarf round, and I should be set for the snow. But so it's sort of got me back into wanting to weave again. So that's that. Yeah, I'm pleased with that. Nice colour. It's just it's obviously different than knitting. It does tend to grow, I suppose, quicker, but the knitting is also, I mean, they're both lovely. I love doing them both. And I'm hoping very much to get back to the weaving because it's a nice thing to do. And also it means I can use all my different thicknesses of yarn in it without worrying too much about tension. So that's that. And then here is, just to show those of you perhaps that don't know, this is the latest coat I did. I wove this during lockdown. It was going to be for somebody else, but it didn't fit very well, so I decided to keep it myself. So yeah, I've got that. Again, it's the brighter colours, but you know, it's quite nice to have a change and a contrast. And as I say, I shall get back to the weaving later. So that's really a thought of what is to come. Another thing that I do love doing, and again, plans for the better weather, is to have, you know, I like the dyeing, and I dye fabrics. And this is my little, I use this a lot now for my socks, and I just make sort of patchwork, very basic bags. But I thought I might do some more of that in the spring and summer, more dyeing, and then, because I do like a bit of machine stitching and sewing. You see, I have more time now because I'm not working anymore, so I can really do what I like. And this is another bag that I did quite a long time ago, that I'm using for my knitting, my thick jumper that I'm knitting. And again, it's patchworky. I don't know how I did it really, quite clever, aren't I? Lots of knitted bits on it. So I've always liked the knit and the colour and the do-do-do-do-do. And I've got quite a lot of things down in my little art hut stored that I probably will show you as time goes on. So it's just giving you a taster really of of the future and what might come. All my, I think underpinning all my work is my love of colour, and my love of creating, and I like patchwork, I like knitting. I was listening to a very interesting interview with Fibre the other day, and for those of you that don't know, he's well, I think he was born in America actually, but he's lived in London most of his adult life. Very, very creative knitter. Had a huge influence on me like 30, 40 years ago, really. And I've got some of his books. His use of colour and his flamboyance in design and creating is fantastic. And I was looking at an interview of him in his home, which is like, it's like an art piece, his home. There's quilts on the wall, there's cushions everywhere. But he's a really lovely man. But he was now saying, he's now 84 years old, older than me. And he says, I'm an old man. But he sits there knitting and he says, but I am content. And I thought that was such a lovely thing to say. And I thought, do you know what, Kaif? I understand what you're saying, because I am as well. He said, my social life is virtually nil. Well, I see friends, but obviously had to cut back recently. And my social life is very limited. But you know what? I'm really happy and I'm content. And a lot of that is thanks to fibres. I think probably enough of my rambling on, and I hope you've enjoyed that, and look forward to seeing you again, and thank you very much for joining me. Okay, bye for now.